I did 2 back-to-back yearly clothing challenges aimed at trying to make me think more carefully about what I bring into my wardrobe, and also to inspire me to make my own damn clothes for my wardrobe. What you are about to watch is the summary of last year's challenge. I call it my year of make do, and we're going to go through the results, the challenges, the learnings, and I hope you'll stay along for the ride. I am absolutely freezing in my conservatory. I'll be honest, my glasses are steaming up merely from the generation of my body heat and how that's hitting the air in this room. So if you see me shivering, know that I did this for you. Now, for those of you who are new here, the year of make do, in its first iteration was me not buying any clothes at all, not even secondhand, not even pants and knickers. I did that for a whole year. If I did have new clothes in that year, it's because I made them myself with my own little sewing machine. Where is she? I'll go and get her. Credit the artist. Here she is, the true workhorse of the channel. Me and her, we made all of the clothes that I got in 2024. In 2025, I wanted to carry on the challenge, but introduce a few leniencies. So I did give myself some tokens to spend, but on the condition that I got rid of a shit ton of items myself. It was 2 tokens a season, and then for any extra tokens I wanted, I had to get rid of 10 items in my, it was hardcore. It was hardcore. Now, for those of you who've been watching a lot of these updates, I am going to go through the traditional format of these videos, which is made, bought, tempted, bingo card. But at the end, I'm also going to talk about my most worn items, because I feel like my biggest revelation in 2025 versus 2024 was using this app, Index. Hashtag not spawn, but I have made a whole video about how much I like it. So I'll link that in the description if you want to watch that video after this one. But essentially, using a wardrobe tracking app had given me the data to see what I genuinely wear. And honestly, it was a real revelation. And we're going to save that for the end of the video and talk about why I was so shocked isn't the word, surprised only, and why you might be too at the kind of items that are on that list. So without further ado, let's get on with what I bought, which was, I don't think anything, honestly, in the last quarter of the year. And that's because I spent all my I spent them all. Oh yes. What was I tempted by? Absolutely freaking everything, but that's okay because the challenge is over now, so I can indulge those urges on Vinted should I want to, and should nobody have bought the items that I had been craving. You better not have freaking bought them, I swear to God, that's mine. Made is where we really want to get talking, and I'm going to give you the fashion show of your life. The first item I want to show you from the last quarter of 2025 that I made with my bare hands is, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, the dress I am currently wearing. Here she is. She's made out of a shift dress pattern from here to here, and then from here to here. That's just improvisation, baby. That's just a gathered skirt. This is from a fabric that you might have seen in some of my other updates because my friend Ariel gave it to me as a wedding present. It's leopard print, obviously, because what else would I be wearing? But it's also made out of a very light denim, which I've never sewn with before, but I was really craving a slightly warmer dress this winter. And while it would have made more sense to make a jacket out of it or something else like that, especially as I only had 1.5 meters, I decided that this is more important. This is what I wanted. And I just about made the fabric work. I had no fabric left over. The reason it's a little bit shorter than I usually make my dresses is because of that. Please ignore the slippers. You've seen this floor. This is England, and we can't be walking around barefoot on floors like this in January. I am incredibly happy with this dress. I would say the fit is slightly tight on the arms, but just slightly. And because it's denim, I really believe that it's gonna give with time. Other than that, it's so comfy, and the thing that I am most proud of is the way I finished the goddamn seams. French seams on the inside, see that? Bright pink bias binding on the neckline and the arms. And, oh, what's this? Binding on the gathered seam too, and quite neat, if I do say so myself. So this was one of the makes that I made, and I'm really, really happy with it. One I'm not gonna try on simply because I have ample amounts of footage of it from the video where I documented making it, and on the yellow carpet at the Wicked premiere is this 100% secondhand fabric Frankenstein dress. I made as a way to beg Universal to send me to the British Wicked premiere, and god damn it, it worked. Overall, I'm really happy with this dress. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't worn it since the premiere, mainly because it's been the Christmas holidays and this dress requires a bra. And if I'm being really honest, I didn't really feel like wearing one. Like quite a structural bra, not just any bra, like a, you know, like a bra. And December and January is not the months that I wear a bra. I would also like to critique myself because this is already coming unraveled. But overall, as I said in the video, I am very happy with this dress and I felt very good in it, and I'll definitely be making this dress in another pattern. Speaking of this pattern, the bottom half of this dress is a pattern by Spaghetti Western, and it's actually meant to be a skirt. So after I made the dress, I decided to make a skirt because I already had the fabric cut out and I was like, do you know what? Let's do it. This is fabric that I'd owned for like a year and I was really having decision paralysis about what to spend it on, but I'm so glad I spent it on making this skirt. As you can see, it's got a big straight panel at the sides, and then what am I doing? I should be trying this on for you. I think I am. Okay, never fear, we're back, we're wearing it. This is the Spaghetti Western skirt. I think it really shows how cool this design is once it's on. It's essentially 4 panels, 2 of them are gathered, 2 of them are not, and it gives you a sufficient amount of swish without it just feeling like you just got a triangle and gathered it together with some elastic. I really love it. And I made this top in 2024 to wear to Wicked Part 1 at the cinema, in my local cinema, because I'm cool, and yes, I do so for occasions like that. But after that, I never knew when to wear this top. So the answer was obviously make a skirt to go with it. I've worn this combo a lot. I wore it to an early screening of Hamnet. I wore it to perform on stage in Edinburgh at the Poetry Festival. The skirt on its own with a t-shirt or a jumper has probably got the most wear out of everything in my wardrobe, not only because I'm using it to wear it like this, but because I'm using it as an underlayer. Linen is incredibly good in the winter as well as the summer at keeping you warm, and this is 100% linen. So I've been using it as an underskirt and it's been amazing. Speaking of underskirts, remember that goddamn fail of a purple dress that I tried to make in an earlier episode? Well, I thought I would repurpose that fabric and use it in a skirt because, again, I just really needed the winter warmth. I used the same pattern as this skirt, but this is corduroy, and I've got 2 tones of corduroy because I didn't have quite enough fabric, but of course somebody on Vinted was selling a meter of purple corduroy in almost the same color, but not quite. But I think that kind of actually adds to the charm. Let me show you the skirt. This is it on. It's incredibly warm. I think it probably only took me like 2 hours to make because it's such a simple design. The one thing I would like to do is add some belt loops to it so it stays up easier, and I think that would look cooler as well to cover the gathers, because the gathers look a bit clumsy, I think, in this fabric. They can look a little bit bunchy, but really happy with this skirt. It's so warm. One last thing I made, this top, which is admittedly definitely going to be a summer top. I'm absolutely freaking freezing in this. So I saw this fabric and I loved it, but I also didn't want to order loads of it. So I ordered 1/2 meter of it, and I managed to make a whole top out of 1/2 meter of fabric, and I'm really, really happy with it. Or have you know, this is exactly the same pattern as the leopard print dress, like the top of it is the same, apart from I've added these elastic panels at the side, which is inspired by an individual sewing pattern that actually just did this. And I almost bought the pattern, and then I was like, hang on a second, that's just a standard bodice with a little panel added. So I just did that. It's very swishy, it's very fun. I imagine I'm going to feel a lot of relief for it in the summer. I did kind of stretch the neckline out in the way. I just still haven't mastered bias binding on linen necklines. I'm not sure why, but I do feel like the neckline is a little bit gapey and I'm annoyed about that. I think I did it well on the shoulder. Anyway, I did a good job. The top is wearable, go me. However, you better believe that you're not gonna be seeing it again till deepest summer because it's freaking freezing. Finally, this is my bingo card of all the things I wanted to get done for the year. I have now made trousers, taken an in-person class, made knickers, found the perfect wrap dress pattern, mended for a friend, made my perfect pocket template. Basically, I think all pocket patterns that come with stuff like aren't big enough and I deserve really massive pockets. So I made my own perfectly sized template, which perfectly fits my hand and my phone and my wants. And then the three that it's not that I failed to do it, because in all fairness, I've got 2 bingos going on and that's really the point of the bingo card. But 3 things I didn't do was make a Ganni dupe. This was a top that I idolized, these kinds of tops. I really, really wanted one. And I just don't anymore. And I'm really glad that I sat on that need and thought, I don't know if I actually want that anymore. I think the tie front thing is really cool, but I don't know if it suits me and I don't think it's a permanent part of my style. So I just decided to not do that. I haven't made socks. I don't really have an excuse. Maybe I'll do that this year. But honestly, I think that pants are a much more functional skill to have had, and socks just feel like something that I should do because that's what people who make clothes do. And then finally, try an overlocker. Reader, she never tried an overlocker, but I've been really resentful about the idea of getting one. I think it's just because I know that an overlocker, which is an extra sewing machine that finishes your seams, like if you're wearing shop bought clothes right now, and if you look at the hems, you'll see that they're finished really neatly, like this. Now that can't be done on a normal sewing machine. You need an extra machine called an overlocker, which a lot of people own, and I love that for them and they seem to be having a great time. But I don't know if I've got room to store an overlocker in my house, and I've seen how hard they are to thread and it doesn't look like fun. So I've been kind of resenting it and putting it off until very recently I discovered that my goddamn sewing machine does this stitch. See the one below D? This one. Now, I haven't seen anyone else talk about this, but I think that this stitch finishes seams very, very well. Much better than just a zigzag stitch in any measurement, on any setting. And I've had so much, look, this is cord. Cord unravels loads. This is barely unraveled and I've worn this skirt a lot. I've got a theory that that stitch, whatever that stitch is called, is at least the intermediary between a boring zigzag stitch and a fancy overlocker stitch. And as for me in my house, I'm gonna be sticking with that stitch for now. I cannot be bothered with an overlocker. Maybe one day, I'm not saying never, but I'm just saying that that discovery was a revelation for me and it's really changed the game. And I think it's okay to give up on your goals when you realize your goals aren't serving you. Out of all of the clothes in my wardrobe, these 5, let's put them all together, were my most worn items. Wait, I'm missing one. Can you believe it? I can't, but I wanted to dedicate the end of this video to talking about them because I think that these 5 items are genuinely the heroes of the Year of Make Do challenge. These are really what got me through and what I kept wearing. And of course, the point of the challenge is make do. And this is what I was making do with, and I didn't even notice. Like, I think that what's really interesting about this is that if you showed somebody these 5 items and you said, whose wardrobe is this? You 100% would not say Lena Norm's, but these are the base layers that make up all of my creative, colorful outfits. Therefore, I think they deserve a little bit of applause. And maybe going forward, these are the kinds of things that I will invest in and really take care of and think about when I think about getting new things, because they have served me so freaking well. Let's talk about the shoes first. So I wore these sandals 33 times just in 2025, and I've owned them since 2021. And I wore these boots 196 times, and that is just in 2025 because that's when I started logging. 196 times. And I think what's important to note about these 2 items is that these serve the exact same purpose in my wardrobe. It's just that I wear the sandals in summer and I wear these ones in winter. And that is literally it. As you can see, I feel like they go with everything, but I'm somebody who doesn't really think about their shoes as part of their outfits. And discuss in the comments, if you are a shoes off household, how are you incorporating shoes in a real measurable way into your style? Because how are you trying them on in the mirror and looking at them? And like, how are you thinking about them? Like, I imagine how the shoes will look, but I never like style my outfits around my shoes. And maybe that is in detriment to my style. Maybe you think some of these outfits don't look very good. But I've been very happy with the way I've been dressing this year with a very small shoe wardrobe. And for me, brown is a neutral. I did have some black boots. I had 2 pairs of black boots that I sold this year, which I don't regret because the boots they were serving such a similar purpose to the brown ones that I was just like, these need to get out. Like, they're not as fun and as good as my brown ones, and they're just serving the same purpose. But what I do admittedly miss is I used to have a pair of just black solid shoes, and I think that would serve a different purpose in my wardrobe. Having shoes instead of boots, I could wear them much more easily with dresses. I do miss those, and I might get another pair of those secondhand to add back into my wardrobe, what I took out when I sold my 2 pairs of black boots. However, as you can see from these outfits, I've worn them with very colourful styles. I've worn them in more party settings. They've been there on my Hobbit days. They've been there on my more casual garden days. They've just been a staple, as have the sandals, which I've traveled with a lot. So I have attended lots of different events with the sandals, and I've had a great time with them. I've worn these jeans 45 times. I tend to love a brightly colored top. It's very easy to style with black jeans. Nothing that deep there. I don't think we need to dissect that too much. And also my black top, which I've worn 34 times, because this Manners is a very small brand, and they make their tops out of this semi-stretchy fabric. So it actually kind of is quite supportive, and you can wear them as bras as well. Or you can wear a top without a bra, which I like doing. So in the summer, I have been styling it a lot like this. I've been wearing it under netted tops, or when I'm wearing like an open shirt and I want something peeking out from beneath it. That's what I wear. It's worth its weight in gold. And then finally, I wanted to give a little shout out to the best jacket in town. I've been thinking a lot this year about how we always talk about how leopard print is a neutral, but I also think for me, khaki is a neutral. I can't really think of very much I don't think it goes with. Fans of this channel will know that I got this jacket in 2016, which makes this year our 10-year anniversary together. It was from a brand called Milk It, which doesn't exist anymore, but they were called Milk It because they used dead stock fabric to make new items. And this honestly feels like army surplus material. I don't know if it is, but it feels that way. And another reason it was my most worn was because it's quite dense, so it can be warm-ish and very easy to layer because like the wind doesn't get through it very much, but then also it's very easy to roll up small, so I've been traveling with it a lot. So I think that when you're thinking about cost per wear, or if something is worth making or buying, the question of would you travel with this, I think is really key, because you tend to wear stuff that you're traveling with every single day of that trip, and that always skyrockets items in my logging index catalog because I'll just be wearing something every day for ages. And for me, I think that makes a purchase much more worth it and much more worthwhile investing time and energy into. Let's have a quick reflection on the whole project, shall we, before we frog snog out. I think the 3 things that I have really learned, apart from all the stuff that I learned from the end of last year, which I'll link the video below if you want to hear me talk about that, but the 3 extra things I've learned from this second year of doing my year of make do are, I don't think I benefit from the token system. I think that my brain wants to cheat the token system. I don't think it likes that rule, and sometimes I think I buy less when I have no restrictions on me than to when I'm like, oh, well, I've got to use up all my tokens. So while that method works for a lot of people, I don't think it works for me. What I think would work better, like I quite liked 2024 when I was just not allowed to buy clothes at all. It was actually kind of relaxing. I think the decision paralysis of what I was going to spend my tokens on resulted in me spending more time on Vinted and like thinking about it and deliberating over it in a way that I didn't in 2024, because the stakes were just so high and I didn't enjoy that. And I actually think it was a bit silly. I think it wasn't silly. It was a good experiment, but I think what I would like to trial maybe in the future is doing like buying windows. So like at the moment it's January. I'm open for buying stuff if there's anything that comes up that I think is really worthwhile and would fit with my wardrobe and I would wear a lot. But maybe in February I'll shut the window and I'll say no buying in February. February's not a buying month. Maybe I do like 1 month off, 1 month on. I will keep you updated if I do try something like that and how I get on with it. But I'm thinking about trying that. My second learning is a sewing learning. I think that how I'm really feeling about sewing goals in 2026 is that I don't feel like setting any. I made a video about how I don't really want to set personal goals this year. And besides one of my New Year's resolutions being mend something every month for somebody else, I'm not going to make any. I feel at this point in my sewing journey, what I feel like I should be doing and what I actually think would be useful for me to do mentally and logistically are two very different things. Like, I feel like at this stage in my sewing, I should be learning how to make jackets and how to do placket pockets and how to drape and work with a mannequin and overlock my clothes. But actually, what I actually think I want in my wardrobe is more of these very simple skirts. And I want to challenge myself artistically to make weird stuff. And I want to get better at mending the stuff that I have and honing my mending skills. So I really feel like for me, the next phase of my sewing isn't getting formally better at sewing, but being led more by what I genuinely need in my wardrobe and just joy, just artistic impulse of like a weird thing to make. I would love to just make more weird things that you'll be like, Lena, when are you going to wear that? And I'll be like, it's art, bitch. Look it up. And then just wear it anyway to a really inappropriate party. And my final learning is actually that vision board I made ages and ages ago that I made a video about. This is my vision board and I still love everything on it. And I actually think making the vision board was so useful because it has made me feel like I have a personal style. A little bit at least. And when I'm thinking about things to buy, I think about this wardrobe and I think about this Pinterest board and I think, would it fit with this vision of my wardrobe? And I genuinely think that this is one of the exercises that has kept me on track with what I want and what I want to make. And I feel almost a sense of relief looking at this wardrobe vision board that I made more than a year ago, I think. And I still love it. I still think, yeah, maybe it was 2 years ago. Anyway, it was a long time ago. I still think, yeah, this is what I want. And I'm really happy that I've added a few things to it. But generally, I think that the vision board and the use of the Index app have been the two like real winners that have worked for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was of course made possible by the Gumption Club. They're why we weren't interrupted by a sponsor, and they are why we can talk about whatever we want on the channel without thinking about impressing the capitalist overlords. Thank you so much to them. And if you're interested in learning how to make your own clothes or even just improving the sustainability and consciousness of your wardrobe collecting, then there are some amazing threads in our Gumption Club Discord where you can chat to like-minded people about that, including me. I'm on there every day. If you have missed any part or you want to rewatch parts of my Year of Make Do #journey, there is a huge playlist sitting here waiting for you. Or if you just want to try what the YouTube gods think that you should watch next from my channel, you can click here. Thank you so much for watching. Frog Snog out.